Tonight, in a special programme, we take an in-depth look at crucial issues for young voters as we edge ever closer to polling day. We're live across the country.
I'm at a boxing club finding out how COVID has hit the jobs market hard and what young people here need to fight back.
180 miles away from the Senedd, I'm with young people from the Wicked Wales Cinema Club in Rhyl, and they can feel they have a long-distance relationship with Welsh politics.
Plus, mental health is top of the agenda at this rugby club in the Valleys as players come together to share their experiences.
And I'm Tia. I'm 16 years old and have been voting for the first time, and my questions have been put to the party leaders.
Hello, good evening and welcome to a special Wales at 6. In a fortnight's time, it'll be the eve of Election Day. And as Wales decides, we'll be exploring issues important to many of us, from job security to healthcare. But tonight, with a very different approach. We're looking at all these things from the point of view of younger people who can vote for the first time on May the 6th. Well, to help our planning of this special programme, we called on the expertise of teenagers who've added their perspective to our production meetings and storytelling from across the country. And here in the Wales at 6 studio, I'll be guiding you through the programme with the help of 16-year-old Tia Camilleri, who's been adding her voice to the political debate. Tia, a very warm welcome to you. Tell us what's on your agenda for tonight's programme.
Well, hi John. So, like a lot of other young people, I'm in college and I've been interviewing and finding out what the main party leaders have to offer young people. We spoke about job opportunities and housing so that we don't have to leave Wales to live and work.
OK, well, we'll get to that in a little later on, Tia, but thank you for the moment. First, our reporter Sean Jenkins on why young voters matter so much right now.
The Senedd, the home of Welsh democracy. In 2 weeks' time, our votes will determine which politicians and parties get to enter its doors for the next 5 years. But this year's election is an historic one. For the very first time, 16 and 17-year-olds will get the opportunity to vote, giving around 65,000 new voters the chance to have their say on the next 60 members of the Senedd. But why do young votes matter? What will this mean for the result? And are the political parties doing enough to engage with these newly enfranchised young people? Here in Grangetown in Cardiff, Ishan, Saffron and Victor are all 17 years old and able to exercise their democratic right for the very first time. Are you going to vote in the election?
Yes.
Yes. Why?
It is my democratic duty. It's not just my democratic right.
I think especially as a woman, we took so long to get the right to vote, and then if we're not, we're doing a disservice to people like Emily and Pankhurst and the suffragettes.
And what would you say are the most important issues for you?
Surely it has to be education and mental health.
Poverty, and especially youth poverty, is really important because there's such prevalent issues in our society that shouldn't really have a place, but they do.
But are the political parties taking young people seriously? Dr. Andy Mycock from the University of Huddersfield has been researching the potential impact of votes at 16 in Wales.
There isn't that much evidence to say that they've extensively changed the way in which they're designing their policy platforms or in the way in which they're engaging. Young voters really could change the turnout. And if we think about the current polling around the Senedd elections, with 3 parties vying for power, a genuine open competition, I would suggest that it's absolutely vital that all the parties go out and make a concerted effort to engage with those young voters now.
There are some who are still not convinced by the idea of votes at 16. But Ishan, Saffron and Victor are hoping others their age will prove the doubters wrong and make their votes count during this landmark in Welsh democracy.
If not us, then who? Who knows best about what young people need, about what young people want, other than us? So go out there, make your voice heard in the Senedd elections, and say what type of society you want to live in.
We try as a college.
So that's why the teenage vote is so important in this election. Well, time now to hear from more young people themselves. Tia, where are we heading?
We're all across Wales today, John, from Rhyl to Nelson, but first we're heading to Butetown.
OK. Well, let's hear from our reporter Charanpreet Khera, who's talking to young people about the world of work. Charanpreet, you've chosen quite an unusual venue.
That's right, John. I'm actually in a boxing club, and yes, the world of work is tough right now, but it's not just a metaphor. I'm in Tiger Bay Boxing Club, where they've been working with young people to put on a virtual jobs club. And I've got 3 members of the jobs club here, Shudha, Adnan and Nadilla. We'll be catching up with each of those in a minute. But first of all, each of those young people fall into the category of young people who've been particularly squeezed in the past year. Across the UK, 57% of the fall in employment that we've seen in the past year comes from 16 to 24-year-olds. And ethnicity plays a huge part too. 34% of black 16 to 24-year-olds are unemployed, and that's compared to 13% of their white counterparts. Now, Shudha, you're in your 2nd year of college. What do those figures mean to you?
It does make me a bit anxious going into the world of work. However, I do believe that engaging in conversations like these is a step towards a change in that.
And Adnan, you're in your 2nd year at uni. What do you think some of the challenges are for young people?
So in addition to the pandemic, you have subconscious racial bias within employment recruitment teams, which is making it much harder for ethnic minorities to apply for jobs this year.
Now, Nadilla, you're shortly to enter the world of work. What does it mean to you to know that it might be even harder for young people from minority ethnic backgrounds?
Honestly, it terrifies me. I'm already afraid of going out to the world of employment, into the session, and this is just one more thing to add to the pile of stress.
Now, we all know that the Senedd elections are coming up, and so I'd love to know from each of you, what is it that you'd like to see from the next Welsh Government to help you out in the world of work?
It would be good to see more funding towards job opportunities for school leavers and people in the 16 to 21 age bracket.
I'd like to see the government work together with employment to find ways in which we can make job applications more inclusive.
I'd like to see an emphasis on paid internships, making them more accessible to students from lower socioeconomic backgrounds.
Well, great ideas from all 3 of you, and thank you so much for sharing your stories with us. We wish you all the best with your hunt for employment. So John, Tia, there you have it. These 3 aren't pulling any punches, and they have high hopes that the next Welsh Government will give them a fighting chance to do the best that they can do when it comes to finding work.
OK, Charanpreet in Bhutan, thanks very much indeed. So little doubt that work is a top priority. And the main parties are committed to job creation in their manifestos. Welsh Conservatives say they're committed to creating 65,000 jobs. Plaid Cymru has pledged 60,000 new green jobs. And Welsh Labour promises to guarantee a job, education or training to all under 25s. Well, Tia, we've put your questions to the leaders of all the 3 big parties in Wales. I want to know, what was important to you?
Lots of things. I think education, housing and Black history is really important to me. But overall, I just wanted to find out what they're going to do for young people and what they're bringing for us.
Hello, I'm Tia. Can you please introduce yourself?
Hi Tia, I'm Andrew Davies. I'm leader of the Welsh Conservatives and I'm standing for election on May the 6th.
So I'm Mark Drakeford. I'm the First Minister of Wales and the leader of the Welsh Labour Party.
I'm Adam Price. I'm the leader of Plaid Cymru, the Party of Wales.
So I'm 16 and as you know, this is the first time I'm going to be able to vote in the Senedd elections. What does your party have that will help young people like me?
Well, what's really important is that we get a clear roadmap out of lockdown so that we can secure futures bright enough for young people like your good selves with employment and good education prospects. We turbocharge the green revolution so that we become pioneers in green energy and green solutions. We make sure we invest in mental health services in schools and colleges, so we revolutionise the mental health provision for youngsters.
So what about Labour?
So a real emphasis on a guarantee for young people that in Wales there'll be no wasted generation, that there will be jobs, education and training. Then we have things on mental health, and then there'll be investment in things that young people will enjoy. In sports, in the arts, in making sure that young people in Wales will be able to work and study abroad in the future as they have been able to do in the past.
At the heart of our manifesto is investing in the future, and that means investing in young people. So we're going to be offering a guaranteed job to all 16 to 24-year-olds. We're going to be guaranteeing free transport to young people between the age of 16 to 24 on buses. And we're going to be starting the process of making university education free again through a substantial reduction in tuition fees.
I know the Conservatives promised to build 100,000 new houses if they win in the Senedd, and I wanted to ask how you would help them be affordable for young people who want to get on the property ladder.
Well, we'd make sure at least 40,000 of those 100,000 homes are secured for low-income families or social housing in particular, because we know that we just haven't been building enough houses. So if you're not building enough houses, that's going to exclude many young people from the housing market.
Something that a lot of young people care about is the teaching of Black history in schools. It was interesting to hear that Plaid Cymru said that this was not actually compulsory and as a law in the curriculum, but more as guidance. Can you explain that, please?
One of the first things that we will do in government is to ensure that there is a legal requirement to ensure that Welsh history, including Black history, is taught as a mandatory part of the curriculum.
So, you've been in power now for many years, and what have you done for young people in that time?
Well, Welsh Labour's record on things for young people includes, of course, the reform of the curriculum in schools, a major achievement of the last Senedd term. And at the same time, of course, we've already invested in improving mental health services for young people over the last 5 years, and made sure that all young people are able to vote in this election.
Thanks so much for your time. I'm sure you've given young people and me lots to think about.
Some really good questions there. Now, of course, there are many more parties to choose from in this Senedd election, and you can find about all of them online at itv.com/Wales. We have rundowns of what the different parties stand for on our website, and we also have quick and easy guides to this election on our Instagram feed. It's all there for you. Now then, the coronavirus pandemic has shone a spotlight on all aspects of the Welsh NHS and social care, and in particular mental health. Tia, you told us this was really important, and that's what we're discussing next. So where are we heading?
We're going to Nelson Bells Rugby Club to join Hannah Thomas, who's with the girls at training. Hi, Hannah.
Hi Tia, yes, thank you very much. Thanks, John. I'm at a training session of the Nelson Bells girls rugby team. You can hear them, you can see them behind me here in the evening sunshine, practicing ready for when they can be match fit and back on that pitch. And mental health is a subject really close to their hearts, because just a couple of years ago, one of their most promising players disappeared after a night out, and she was discovered several days later. But the amazing legacy she's left is being able to get these girls to open up and have a conversation about mental health. And I'm joined by Lucy here. Lucy, this has been really important during the pandemic, hasn't it?
Yeah, obviously with COVID and the circumstances with that, the club and the management have been hugely supporting us through the difficult times, making sure that we're having daily checkups, FaceTimes, quizzes, so keeping us all well.
All on your toes. That sounds fantastic. Well, I've also got Molly here, who's going to talk to us a little bit about the politicians' views. Molly, Labour are promising that they will provide additional counselling in schools. You're in schools. Does this go far enough?
Yeah, I believe that counselling in school is a great idea, as it gives opportunity for youngsters to speak up on how they feel and not to ever be ashamed.
That's a really important point, I think, isn't it? Well, we've got Leanna as well. Leanna, the Conservatives are saying that they want to increase capacity in mental health services. Are they right to do that? Is it right or not?
I think increasing capacity in services is the right thing to do, but as a young person I feel like picking the right party is what we need to do. We can't just pick a party because that's what our parents pick. The party needs to give us reasons to pick them and do what the people need to help them.
That's a very important point, isn't it? Well, I've got Tyler on the end. Tyler, Plaid Cymru are saying that they want to open up 14 youth wellbeing centres for young people. Will they work?
I believe if they're done correctly, they will be successful, because the amount of youngsters, especially locally, that we all know, that are struggling and either embarrassed or ashamed to come up and speak about their mental health, I think bringing these centres in will give them the opportunity to speak up, share experiences and be able to speak up and be friends with other people who are suffering also.
And you've had personal experience of that?
Yeah, with myself, friends, family, it is a big problem, and I think bringing the support to it will give everyone the chance to overcome it.
Absolutely. Well, there we go, John and Tia. The wind is very strong here in Nelson. I do apologise for that bit. But if you want to know a bit more about what the other parties are pledging on mental health and everything else this election, head to itv.com/Wales.
OK, Hannah in Nelson, thank you very much indeed. So we've heard about what's important to young people in this election and what different parties have to offer. But if you're a first-time voter, what should you know about the ballot process on the day? Eugenia Taylor has been finding out how to vote.
Charlotte is excited to vote for the first time. The 17-year-old from Barry wants to share that enthusiasm with her fellow pupils.
So I sort of looked up what the Senedd is and does, almost all the devolved matters and the different voting system, because we use a different voting system in Wales with the electoral regions and your second vote.
By encouraging her peers to understand their democratic right, she hopes to bring a range of voices to the ballot box, even helping one student to register.
I sat down with her, she brought her national insurance number with her, and we just sat down and registered to vote one lunchtime over our meatballs.
So what can we expect when it comes to election day?
If you've registered, you'll have been sent one of these, a polling card, which will have your name, your details, and it will also tell you where to vote. Now, it's likely to be somewhere nearby, like a school or a community centre. On the day itself, you can bring this along with you, but it's not strictly necessary.
Because of COVID, polling stations will look a little different. Plastic screens will be put up, and you're advised to bring your own pencil. But the pandemic hasn't curbed these teenagers' passion for voting. These young voters took part in a Senedd mock election. How did it feel to have your voice heard?
It felt really nice. We know what we're talking about, and we're not just some stupid youth that just goes out like playing constantly. That we do think about serious issues within our communities.
A newfound knowledge and a determination to make their votes count. Eugenia Taylor, ITV News.
Well, once they're elected, members of the Welsh Parliament represent people in all corners of Wales. So we're heading 180 miles from the Senedd in a moment to join Carol Green and members of a cinema club in Rhyl. But first, let's see a film, appropriately enough, made by them on what's important in their own words.
Hello, my name's Bella.
Hi, my name is Kyle Street.
Hi, my name is Kira Lee Pollock.
My name's William Jones. It is important to me to feel that I can move around safely.
It is really important for us to have our opinion listened and have opportunities to speak up.
The issues that are important to me are equipment at school for drama and other subjects.
In my school there isn't enough funding to do certain GCSEs like psychology or like drama, which has held me back from what I want to be doing.
My message for the politicians would be listen to us about our education, listen to us about our futures and about how we would want our schools to run.
I'd say stop trying to impress everyone and make sure you ask people who are suffering. We need to get the conversation started about whether we need this thing getting done or that, because it's important.
They want to bugger all from the late bulletin at 10:30. So they want to give young people in the town for over 60 years. But tonight it's all about the future. And William and Dylan, you're both voting for the first time. William, how important is that to you?
I think it's very important to vote because it'll be the first time that people our age will be allowed to vote. And obviously we haven't been talking about it much because we don't think it's about our future, but it is. But that's...
So do you feel part of the conversation?
Yes, since we've been asked to come here, we have been part of the conversation when
previously we haven't. So
You feel like your voices are heard?
Yes.
Dan, what about you? Are you keen to vote?
Yes, I think it's very important for people our age because we're not getting heard as much as we like. And I think some people are not confident to speak up when they need to, especially like people in wheelchairs and people who have babies and pushchairs. There's not much accessibility around places for people like us, and I think people who's around us, they need to see from our perspective.
And that's what you'd like to tell the politicians?
Yeah, I think it's very important for them to get their head in our view and their eyes seen through our eyes as well.
And do you feel part of the political conversation?
I do now, because I think with us being able to vote, it will give us the opportunity and open more paths and doors for us to get our voices heard. But like when we were not allowed to vote, I think it was unfair.
Are you excited?
Yes, very.
What about you, William?
Yeah, I think it's really important to vote and to talk about what part of the things we should be voting about. Like, say I've got autism, and I think for our future we should be voting for things that take us more towards showing light to these disabilities and causes, because not a lot of people know about these things.
Brilliant, thank you both. Well, we may be a long way from Cardiff Bay, but everyone here is very keen to use their vote.
Hearing you loud and clear, Carol, thank you very much indeed. Now, during our production meetings for this special programme, we were joined by young people who shared their priorities with us. And one subject came up time and time again. Tia.
It was climate justice and climate action, John. So we asked Ruth to go and investigate the climate debate.
The sights and sounds of the capital city, bathed in spring sunshine. But it might not always be this way. Last year, Cardiff was named the UK's most at-risk city due to climate change, the 6th in the world.
On a wall just a stone's throw from the city centre, a mural has appeared, a vision of Cardiff in the future underwater. Yasmin, you're 16 years old and climate change is something you're really passionate about. When you look at this image, this vision, how do you feel?
I think that it's really important that there are pieces of art like this, because it demonstrates the pressing issue of climate change. As we know, Cardiff is projected to be underwater by 2050, and including this area is going to be completely flooded. And it's so important that people, especially young people, are aware of these issues.
From the city to our seas, our impact on the environment is all too obvious. And these college students at Freshwater West in West Wales are determined to do their bit.
I think when you grow up in a coastal area like this, you know, it's a national park. You know, it's gorgeous, and you kind of almost have this sense of responsibility to conserve it.
I would like to see just a more positive approach. Anything being projects or just everyday life, kind of considering sustainability first, rather than like an add-on.
Yasmin, we've seen people getting involved there. Why is climate change such an issue, a big issue to you and your generation in particular?
I think it's a huge issue to young people because we've currently seen how much the climate crisis is affecting other countries and communities across the world. We need politicians and policymakers to have much more ambitious ideas around solving the climate crisis.
It seems the message from the next generation is clear then. We can't keep treading water. Either we change or our climate will change forever, and that could prove catastrophic. Ruth Dodsworth, ITV News, Cardiff.
Well, if that's inspired you to get out and about, let's see if we'll have the weather for it. Kelsey's here with all the details.
Great Western Railway sponsors the ITV Cymru Wales weather.
Hello there, a very good evening to you. Well, many of us have seen some bright sunny spells today. The good news is that sunshine will continue over the next few days, so things stay generally dry out there, but we will see some rather chilly nights to come as well. And in fact, it is going to be a cold one as we head through overnight tonight, so a bit more in the way of some cloud around today, but overnight tonight, that cloud will soon start to fizzle out a bit, so we'll see plenty of clear skies start to develop overnight tonight. And when we do have clear skies, temperatures will take quite a bit of a tumble, and as you can see, some spots even getting down to -3 degrees Celsius, so it is going to be a bitterly cold night to come, and for some of us seeing a bit of a widespread frost as well. So as you wake up first thing tomorrow morning, then, well, a chilly start to the day, but things will soon start to improve anyway. Many of us seen some beautiful bright blue skies out there, wall-to-wall sunshine for many of us actually. It's shaping up to be a pretty decent day, and the temperature's really responding to that too. We've got highs of 16 degrees Celsius, so just a few degrees above average for where we really should be for this time of the year. But do take care if you are heading out and about, because whilst it will feel pleasant in that sunshine, we do have some high UV levels tomorrow, so that means a relatively short burn time, so you could be caught out there. Bye-bye.
Great Western Railway sponsors the ITV Cymru Wales weather.
And that's it from a very special Wales at 6, looking at the issues affecting young people as 16 and 17-year-olds prepare to vote for the first time. You can catch up on all the rest of the day's news on our website. That's itv.com/Wales. And I'll be back with your late update after news at 10. Our thanks to all the young people who helped make this programme this evening. And from Tia and me, it's been fun, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's been great.
Thanks for watching. From all the team, bye-bye.